Kirsty-Jane Petch, and this is a critical evaluation of how and in what ways I can be enterprising in the career I aspire to achieve. So after obtaining my degree in International Hotel and Resort Management, I hope to pursue a career in the hotel industry, becoming front of house manager within 5 years. My 5-year plan is as follows. Year 1. I plan to obtain a place on the graduate scheme, preferably working for Marriott International. This is the company I completed my placement year with. It is the largest hotel company in the world. I want to obtain as much experience, knowledge and learning in as many departments as possible, and my main focus will be the front office role. However, I want to progress to managerial level, and so plan on experiencing as many roles as possible in order to gain a full understanding of hotel operations. Year 2 of the graduate scheme, I aim to push for a position within guest relations. It is more customer focused and I believe it requires extra attention to detail. This role for me is attractive as well as a motivator, as I can influence customer satisfaction. I would also like to work towards a supervisory position so I could experience greater responsibility. By year 3, I would like to have been promoted to guest relations manager, as it would be a natural progression after building on my experience and success in my first 2 years. In year 4, I hope to become assistant front of house manager in preparation to become front of house manager in year 5. My ultimate aim would be to become front of house manager for a 5-star hotel. The reason for my choice of a career began with my introduction to hospitality when I was 15 years old, working in a local and well-loved Italian restaurant. It was there that I realised my passion for providing excellent customer service and the personal satisfaction of doing so. After subsequently working in a 5-star hotel on my placement year, my preference has now extended to luxury hospitality, and the skills and qualities needed for a position of a front office associate include great communication skills and a positive attitude. After completing a personal values tool to assess my priorities in my career, I have established my top 5 priorities and my long-term priorities. According to the Jane Sunley tool for assessing my values, my top 5 priorities are essential for my ongoing happiness, satisfaction and well-being, and these areas are the main areas of interest currently in my career. I agree with these priorities, as after leaving university, my learning and development is very important for me to progress in my career. And according to Robinson and Stubber in 2012, millennials have reported dissatisfaction with on-the-job training and development programs, as well as communication and relationship issues with management as the primary reason that they leave their jobs. Miola 2016. My academic learning and a year of hands-on experience allows me to expand my practical knowledge in the hotel industry. I am keen to gain the support of fellow managers and supervisors, and I am open to feedback and value its associated learning. I'm fully aware that the hotel industry can be unsociable due to the working hours, so keeping a work-life balance is important to me to ensure that I am not just living to work. I want to work so that I can have a good life. I also want to work in an environment where I am able to gain respect, and I feel that working in 5-star luxury hotels will allow me to accomplish this. This quote about work-life balance is something that I definitely feel like I resonate with. So why has self-employment not interested me? Self-employment holds little interest for me, and I feel that the desired skills the literature says that you should have to be an entrepreneur are not skills that I have. And this quote by Hissrich and Peters, 2002, is also something that I just feel I do not have in my life at the moment. After graduating, I feel it's unrealistic for me to start my own business, even if I wanted to, as I do not have the financial backing, and it's unrealistic. Secondly, at this point in my life, I do not want the responsibility of owning and running my own business. In the UK GEM report 2009, women score less well than men on 4 out of the 5 questions about attitude and connection to entrepreneurship. And I believe that this is because, generally speaking, women tend to be more cautious with their decisions. The Get to Enterprising test scored me as occasionally enterprising and said, at this time in your life, you may find that you are content to work on a limited number of projects and may be happy to be enterprising either within employment or as an entrepreneur or in your leisure time through voluntary community projects. And I agree with this statement. I believe that I am on the right track to achieving my chosen career, as I do possess some of the skills and competencies needed to start working on my 5-year plan. The job description for a front office manager states that I will oversee the front office team, which is the main connection between the guest, the hotel, and various hotel departments. And the front office manager is responsible for managing the first impressions of guests and therefore must perform the required tasks to the highest standards. The main thing I find attractive about this statement is that it includes connecting with guests, which is one of my biggest motivators. The reason why I believe it's a motivator for me is through previous experience. When I have satisfied a guest and they're happy with the service I've given, it gives me a feeling of self-achievement which motivates me to keep working to the best of my ability. Using the hospitality, tourism and events competency model, I've identified some interpersonal skills that I currently possess which are suitable for the job, and I've also identified areas I need to develop. I believe that I can demonstrate sensitivity and empathy, which involve showing sincere interest in others and their concerns, which is essential for a manager. And to date, my current work experience is restaurant-based, with the year in front office at the 5-star London Hotel. In this work experience, I have dealt with a lot of complaints and requests, which requires all of the stated factors. I would say that I need to develop my responses of others' behaviours, and when I get to managerial level, as from reflecting on previous work experience, I only feel confident in handling guest and customer problems but do not yet have the experience of managing a team. The job description says that maintaining good communication and working relationships with all hotel departments is a task that is required for this job. And looking at the model, I believe that I have these interpersonal skills. I believe that I have this skill when working in the hotel, as I had to ensure that I had open communication with all departments in order to resolve guests' issues and requests. Obviously, each hotel experience will be different, but I feel that I have a personality that is quite open to connecting and communicating with people in an efficient way. And I feel that I will need to develop my ability to establish a high degree of trust and credibility with others from a managerial perspective, as having a trusting relationship with a co-worker is totally different to a manager-employee relationship. And I would like to think I've become a manager that they feel that they can come to and trust to help. Another part of the model talks about dependability and reliability, fulfilling obligations, and behaving consistently and predictably. They're reliable, responsible, and dependable in fulfilling obligations and diligently follows through on their commitments. All of these competencies I believe I possess, and I justify this as I've always taken the view that whenever I start something, I have to finish it, even if the task is more difficult than first expected, or I don't enjoy it as much as I thought I would. I've never been a quitter, and I believe that this has helped me in my work experience as I am very dependable and reliable. And once finished in school, I completed my full college course. I'm now coming to the end of my degree, and I have not given up at any stage. I also completed my full placement year and even stayed an extra week when requested to by my manager, as they were short-staffed. I feel that my stubbornness to ensure that I commit to something and finish it will be a great motivator in my future career. An area for development will be to work independently, as a front office manager's task includes setting departmental objectives, work schedules, budget policies and procedures. Therefore, I would like to work on my ability to set my own schedules to maximise productivity. Young's personality test assessed me as ESFJ, which means I'm 28% extrovert, 6% sensing, 31% feeling, and 3% judging. And I agree with the definition that it gives for this. This gives me a positive indication that the hospitality service sector is a match for me, and striving for a managerial position is suitable. When completing the online prospects planner to see what job is best suited to my personality, it matched me 95% with being an environmental health practitioner. Although this is not the career I have chosen when working in hospitality, especially in restaurants, I have always been interested in quality control and health and safety, and I have in fact joked about becoming a food quality inspector, so it is interesting to know that this job does in fact resonate with my personality, and I use these personality traits in my chosen industry by choosing to work in 5-star hotels so that I can ensure my work is always to the highest quality. The Honey and Mumford 1995 Learning Styles Questionnaire concluded that I was a pragmatist and explains that pragmatists are keen to try things out. They want concepts that can be applied to their job, and they tend to be impatient with lengthy discussions and are practical and down to earth. And I agree with this result and say that I need to work on my patience going forward. To summarise, for my chosen career, the main skills and competencies needed are communication, initiative and reliability, an ability to maintain relationships and demonstrate sensitivity and empathy. And as a manager, it will also be of highest importance to behave ethically, act fairly and take responsibility. The job also requires professionalism, especially excellent grooming standards, which is something I am fully comfortable with. I will also need to develop my problem solving and critical thinking. The main skill gaps I see for my chosen career are being able to manage a team, organising schedules for not only myself but the rest of the team, working on manager-employee relationships, and ensuring that the relationship I do have is a positive one. I'll look to develop my IT skills over the 5 years whilst I work my way to being suitable for this role, as well as gaining knowledge about sales and developing my commercial awareness. When thinking about some of the key concepts around entrepreneurship, Minero's 2007 ABCs of the kaleidoscope model is the concept I feel that I agree with the most, and at the moment I am in the challenge phase of my life. I also believe that being entrepreneurial, which is enterprising within a business, is the best way for me to proceed. By being entrepreneurial, I am able to make incremental innovations or as part of team entrepreneurship. My ideas may have greater reach and impact this way, as making changes via a large corporation rather than on my own gives me more scope for the ideas or innovations to be projected. There is limitations of this with a large corporation, and for any idea or change to the way they do business, it may be only able to go as far as the individual hotel rather than across the whole company, and it may be harder for me to reach the hierarchy of the bigger company. Examples of some ways I can be entrepreneurial in the workplace are as follows: becoming familiar with clients' and guests' needs to develop ways to exceed their expectations, and also becoming familiar with competitors to motivate me to find new ways to stay competitive and have the edge. I can also assess routine tasks and admin duties and think of more efficient ways to complete these tasks. Veeravaghan 2009 talks about the common characteristics of entrepreneurs, and one of these are reacting to profit opportunities. This is a way I can be entrepreneurial within my career, and I'm sure that if I find new ways to do things that will create profit for the business I work for, there's more chance of me gaining opportunities for me to grow in my career. Next, I have listed 2 SMART targets for me to be able to develop. The first one is I want to be able to develop my leadership skills and experience to prepare me for a management position which will build my career. Below is a description of how I will be able to achieve that target. The next SMART target is for me to be able to develop my ability to organise schedules for myself and for a team, as this will be required for me as a manager. Also, below is how I'll be able to achieve this target. So far in my job hunting, I have applied for 4 graduate schemes, attended 3 assessment centres, and I have 2 interviews coming up. My next steps include preparing as much as I can for interviews so that I can perform to the best of my ability. I have been gaining feedback at every assessment centre I have attended, and the one factor that keeps cropping up is that my interview answers are not clear-cut and to the point enough. Therefore, it is my main area of focus going forward, and I will practice answers and star-type questions so I can explain my answers clearly. The way I have been including enterprising skills in my job hunting is by being adaptable and flexible with interviews. For example, I showed my dedication and flexibility with Marriott, as their assessment centre was at the same time I would be in Switzerland for the Young Hotelier Summit. I chose to attend the assessment centre as I thought that this would help with career prospects for the future, more so than going to the summit. I was also enterprising in preparing for and whilst at the assessment centre, as I had to prepare a presentation, and the topic I chose to present about was how hotels are engaging with the millennial traveller. If unsuccessful in my forthcoming interviews for a graduate scheme place, I will have to adapt to my chosen career progression and then apply for entry-level positions. Commonly, entrepreneurs face at some point uncertainty in setting up their business as nothing always goes 100% to plan, and you have to think on your feet to decide on your next move. So, thinking from this point of view, my foresight to assume uncertainty is a way of being enterprising whilst embarking on my chosen career. Thank you for watching, and thank you for listening. Goodbye.